report now. You say you no longer agree with this.
And my answer is that I led the efforts to invest $42 billion in law enforcement.
You've advocated defunding the police as executive director of an organization that you still lead and are affiliated with. I want to talk about some of these policies that have gotten to where we are today. Mr. Jackson, if I could just start with you. You were deputy director in the Biden White House for gun violence and a special assistant to the president. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You're also affiliated with the Community Justice Action Fund. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm also a survivor of gun violence.
You were their executive director. When was that, the Community Justice Action Fund?
2021 to 2023.
And you're affiliated with them now?
Yes, as executive advisor.
Okay. The Community Justice Action Fund is, do you disclose your donors?
Yes.
All of the donors are public?
Yes.
You're funded by the Tides Advocacy Group, among others?
They're a fiscal sponsor.
This is, right,
They
that would be
handle
a
our
donor.
HR.
Yeah, This is a George Soros-funded group?
No.
He's one of the donors?
No.
He's a donor to the Tides Advocacy Group?
Yeah, that's our fiscal sponsor. So they handle our HR, our back office, our operations.
Great, okay, great. So in other words, I mean,
we're one of 300 organizations.
Right, that they run. You are a subset
we
of
them. Pay them to be a fiscal sponsor.
Well, you are a subset of that organization, which he helps to fund, right? Okay. All right. Just wanted to get a level set here. So I want to ask you about some of the policies that you've advocated because they're exactly what we see implemented in these blue cities, like defunding the police.
No.
Oh, indeed.
That's not. We advocate for.
Wait, I haven't asked a question yet. We'll get to. I've got a lot of questions. Believe me, and I'll give you time. So let's talk about this report that you issued when you were executive director, a policymaker's playbook. And I'll ask you to enter it into the record, Mr. Chairman.
Great.
Without objection.
Thank you. In this report, you advocate, and I quote now, defunding the police because the long-term goal is fundamentally to reimagine how the state serves its citizens in the project of public safety. You go on to say police departments traumatize residents through a destructive cycle of racist over-policing, and the answer is not to add any more money to police budgets. Talk to me about, I mean, why is it that denying policing to the most vulnerable communities is a solution? I know that's what the blue cities are doing, but why is that a good idea?
Well, look, I in no way stand with defunding law enforcement. I mean,
that's what your report says.
Sheriff Mike Sheridan, who taught me how to drive when I was 16 years old.
Wait. Your report, when your executive director said you wanted to defund the police, do you renounce this report? Mr. Jackson, do you renounce the report that you authored as executive director? Here it is.
You're the second senator to bring up an op-ed
This isn't an op-ed. This is your report, a policymaker's playbook to reduce gun violence without policing communities.
Okay.
Community Justice Action Fund, copyright 2023, when you were executive director. Now you say you don't know anything about it. Now you say that you haven't heard of it, just like the Democrats who all of a sudden say, oh, we're all for the police. They've been advocating defunding them for years.
Okay, well, you can look at documents or you can look at results.
My question is, do you renounce this report now? You say you no longer agree with this.
And my answer is that I led the efforts to invest $42 billion in law enforcement.
You've advocated defunding the police as executive director of an organization that you still lead and are affiliated with.
Never see me advocate for that directly. What you see me advocate for is a comprehensive approach to reducing violence.
Right, the comprehensive approach is defunding the police, which is what this says.
The entire time.
This is so typical of what the Democrats do now. After your policies have transparently failed and led to the deaths of millions of Americans, now you say you've never heard of defunding the police. Your own report recommends it on page after page after page. Let me ask about something else you say. Here's what you say we ought to invest in. Instead of funding the police, here's what we ought to invest in. We need to invest in programs that acknowledge the need for safe space initiatives led by lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender nonconforming people. What's two-spirit?
Well, look, I don't know exactly. You guys are pulling some interesting quotes.
This is from your report.
If you look at the report, the focus is on investing in violence intervention, outreach workers.
You say that you shouldn't invest in the police, but we ought to invest in two-spirit community programs that acknowledge two-spirit individuals.
We are not going to discriminate against that. We're not going to discriminate against any nonprofit that wants to help us prevent violence in our community.
What is two-spirit? You say don't fund the police, but do fund programs that create safe spaces for two-spirit people. What is? I just want to know. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
A Senate hearing on crime and public safety quickly turned into one of the day's most intense exchanges when Senator Josh Hawley questioned a witness over a police reform report he helped produce. Hawley argued that the report promoted policies that would weaken law enforcement, while the witness insisted his record showed consistent support for public safety. Here's what happened. After thanking a victim's family member for sharing her testimony, Hawley turned his attention to Rob Jackson, an advisor with the Community Justice Action Fund who previously served in the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. Hawley established Jackson's leadership role before introducing a policy report published by the organization in 2023. Reading directly from the report, Hawley argued that it criticized traditional policing and recommended major changes to public safety strategies. Jackson responded that he has consistently supported investments in law enforcement while also advocating violence prevention programs that address the root causes of crime. The questioning intensified as Hawley focused on specific recommendations contained in the report. He argued that the proposals would reduce the role of police departments while expanding alternative community-based programs. Hawley repeatedly asked a direct question: "Do you renounce this report?" Rather than giving a simple yes or no answer, Jackson said the report reflected a broader strategy that included funding for law enforcement alongside community violence intervention efforts. Hawley remained unconvinced, saying the report's language spoke for itself and arguing that its recommendations would ultimately weaken policing. If you're enjoying this coverage of Senate hearings, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the big...
Well, I honestly, I'm not completely aware of the language or the
you wrote the
spirit of how that was
report.
written. But what I'm telling you is that what
is a two-spirit individual? I mean, really, this is your policymaker's playbook. You are the witness called by the Democrats on this committee, so I assume you reflect their views. Well, you don't want to fund the police. You want to fund safe spaces for two-spirit individuals. What is a two-spirit person?
I feel like I'm looking at a two-faced individual because you talk about reducing
violence. Oh, no, sir.
Violence.
You're looking at somebody who's reading you your own words, and I'd like to hear an answer.
Programs.
Here's the answer. The answer is you don't have any solutions. You want to invest in gobbledygook and take away money from police officers who actually keep our communities safe, and when you're called on the record, you deny it. It's all there in black and white, and your record is there in black and white, and it's a disgrace.
We reduced homicides by 31%, and as someone who's been shot and nearly killed, I take offense that you would think that the last 13 years
you won't answer my
we're not
questions,
focused on
that you
reducing
deny your
violence.
own words, and that you are leading this committee astray. And frankly, sir, your policies are absurd. They're absurd.
I don't think we're getting any place, so let's...
Biggest moments from Capitol Hill. Hawley then highlighted another section of the report discussing grants for organizations serving LGBTQ and Two-Spirit communities. He asked Jackson to explain what the term Two-Spirit means. Jackson acknowledged that he was not fully familiar with the term. Hawley immediately seized on the response, arguing that the witness could not explain language contained in a report produced under his own leadership. The exchange quickly became one of the hearing's most talked about moments. As his time expired, Hawley argued that the witness had repeatedly declined to either defend or disavow the report's recommendations. Jackson maintained that his focus has always been reducing violent crime through a combination of strong law enforcement, community partnerships, and violence prevention initiatives. The hearing ended with both sides standing firmly by their positions, underscoring the continuing debate over crime policy, policing, and public safety. The exchange highlighted two sharply different views on how to reduce crime in America. Hawley argued that public safety begins with strong support for law enforcement, while Jackson defended a broader approach that combines policing with community-based violence prevention programs. What do you think? Did Senator Hawley raise important questions about the report, or did the witness provide enough context for his position? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Senate hearings, congressional investigations, and breaking political news from Capitol Hill.